What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to another update about Bitcoin. We're gonna take a look at the charts and look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the other altcoins who have been performing and outperforming Bitcoin. The thing is, we need to see is we have had some nice price action on some altcoins, and some of them have even outperformed each other. I mean, it's been a nice week for people who hold let's say Quant and Litecoin. I mean, Litecoin is almost a price of Quant, so that's something to celebrate. Litecoin has broken out finally. Some altcoins broken out their structures that they were in for a long time, and now let's see what's going to happen next. I'm going to get the screen back. There you go. Now let's see what's going to happen next with these altcoins. It's going to be an interesting week. I mean, today the market's going to be kind of slow because the New York Stock Exchange is closed due to the 4th of July weekend. But if we look at the market all in all, you can see something is about to happen. Something big is about to happen. And in my opinion, it's almost like a make or break point, because Bitcoin, Ethereum are at a breakout point. And if they aren't able to break out here, then you're gonna dump. If you can't go up, you're gonna go down. So I think what's going to happen next is that we're going to get a big move incoming soon. Now this is the Ethereum chart, but I'm going to look at it in the Bitcoin chart. We're not so far away from the Bitcoin. We're not so far away from breaking out in Bitcoin, and I like to look at that indicator on the hourly. As you guys know, I always look at the hourly on Bitcoin for this indicator. To determine whether we're having big moves incoming. And you've seen in the past I've predicted the moves, that moves are going to happen very soon. However, telling direction is not always easy, so let's get into the charts. I mean, and try and make some average true range, trailing stops. No, I need to look for something else. It's not that. ATRS, where's my ever? There you go. Why has it been removed? No, that's not the one. Something's happening. Binance has changed some things. Average true range. Okay, ATR. Sorry. Okay, so on the hourly, we are at 159 at the moment. Looking at this indicator, 159 is not very low, but it's fairly low. You can see last time we were at 159, we had the trip up from here, somewhere here. 26.7 all the way we went up to 31.5, or you could say about 30k before we got a cool off. So that could happen at the moment. We could have a rip up before we get a cool off from Bitcoin. But I'm gonna predict to you the targets that I'm looking at just in a second. Just give me a second. I want to because there are some very important targets we need to keep an eye on. That way, when you get to those targets, you're not caught out and don't know how to react. You would know that we are approaching the end of this move up, and we're gonna get into a possible retracement. So you know where to switch sides or when to switch sides in those kind of scenarios. So now, I'm gonna get rid of this indicator now, and we're gonna go into the chart. This chart is kind of messy, and I'll keep it as it is. I'm gonna just delete these trend lines, but other than that, everything here is relevant to me. I see in Bitcoin, respect these levels. See over here, resistance, 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 shortly lived support. As we got above it, we bounced off. And you can see how sometimes we retouch those levels and go up. And that way you get a chance to re-enter if you missed out. On the hourly, our VWAP is 26,404. We know that Bitcoin sometimes, a lot of times, likes to get back to the VWAP. You see, we deviated, came back into it. We could do that, but the last time we were here, just remember guys, the last time we were exactly here where we were last time, we topped out. We formed a BART head, and we're kind of doing that now. So there is a possibility we go all the way down to 27K. That's not far-fetched, and if you measure the time that it took to get down there, you're gonna see that it wasn't that long from the peak over here to the absolute bottom over here. That was 250 bars. Well, it wasn't short. 250 hours. I would say that was 10 days. It took us 10 days to get down here, but to get just down here to this bottom, it took us 90 hours, so that's 3 to 4 days, I believe, to come from the peak all the way down here to 29.2. It took a while. So sometimes it could take a while. Let's just keep that in mind. And in addition to that, we have these Fibonacci channels on my chart, and you can see we try to get above it, the 1.618, and now we're breaking down. But that doesn't mean we can't continue doing it this way and pump, dump, keep forming high lows. And this is what they call an ending diagonal. And that usually ends up breaking down in the end. People call it a rising wedge or whatever you want to call it. But it's a pattern that's telling you the move could be ending for the time being, and there is pattern exhaustion. Now, as I promised you, I'm going to give you the targets now. For starters, we have some targets that you don't need to even chart. You just need to be aware of without even charting. You have the peak of 31st of May over here. This was our peak, 31st of May 2022. The peak was at 32,427. So if I was on Bitcoin, I would be putting a line over here. 32, I would say 32, even 430 is good, because I know we might wick above it, probably a bit higher, maybe 32.5, 32.7 is very possible. Why 32.7? I believe if we come a bit higher to 32.6, we'll be taking even this wick. Yeah? And frankly speaking, we do have a lot of liquidity all the way to 34K, but I'm not going to jump the gun and start screaming 34K just because we had this move. But I'm going to tell you my next target that will look viable to short is 32K to 32.7 if I wanted to short. That's a big range. So you look at the reactions at 32K and then you look at the reactions at 32.7. I'm gonna make a video. I wanna make a video talking about my strategy. I call it the EMS strategy, and it works quite well. I would say the hit rate is good if you follow it all the time. If you are like me, and sometimes I follow it, sometimes I don't, you will sometimes get wrecked. But if you follow it all the time, you can't really, your losses will be much less. Now on the daily, we're having a red candle, recovered 50% of this. We could continue. We did that over here, red candle, and then we continued lower, bounced. So on a high time frame, it doesn't look that scary, but there are moves of $100 to $300 over here. It's like between 30,170 and 31,400. That's $1,300 in 3 days. In this one day, we moved about from the high 31.3 to the low 29.5. That's a big move. For one day, you could have profited both ways if you knew when to switch. So essentially, you'd be looking. I'm gonna mark this out so you could see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put an arrow over here. Okay, and let's go to the hourly. Okay, so you can see what happened here in the early morning session, the Hong Kong session. Hong Kong pushed it up all the way here. We wicked to the high. So if you were in a long, you would be good. Then you'd come here and notice this wick happening, close out your trade, get into a short, stop loss above the wick, come down all the way here. You wicked here, you did not stop out, you would wait, you came above the POC, then you know that, okay, we might be moving up. Because once you bounce from the POC, a lot of times you go to the value area high. Target as promised. Here we go. Now, if we look at this move from the low that we had January 2023, the beginning of this year has been green all the way. You could assume that we had a 1 wave, a 2, where then we reset it. It's like we had a big 1 and a 2, we had a big 3 and a 4, and currently we are in our 5th wave. Our 5th wave over here, we could just be in the 1st wave, or we are finishing off. Looking at the bigger picture, we could be in the 1st wave of the 5th. So essentially you had a 1, 2, a 3, you could see you had a 4 and a 5, that completed a 1, and now you're having your 2, which could come all the way down. If you take it from the low over here, this is for the 5th wave. Now let's zoom in. You could have a 2 that can come anywhere between 21,150 and 26,226. If this 1 is completed, other people will count this as a 1, 2. This was a 3. This whole thing is a 4, and we're having our 5th. This whole thing was a 4 all the way down here. Okay, and we're having a 5th leg up. So essentially our wave 4 came down to the 0.382. It could come down to 28,880, the 0.5 Fibonacci, but you can see it almost bounced perfectly at the 0.382. It could tell us that this was a 4 and we're going up for the 5. Now the 5th wave target is first target I would like to look at is a 0.618. We could come to 32,777. You can see that. That's my next target for Bitcoin to the upside. If we start pushing up, we could really go to that 32,777. Yeah, but remember we have that wick at 32,438, so it's very possible that we do come up here, wick all the way here, stop out all these shorts that were here since 2022, only to come down again. So that is just the first target for the wave 5. Second target, it could overstretch and go all the way up here, all the way to 34,793. I said I won't be screaming that 34k, but it is very possible, where we'll be bumping our head into this trend line and this fib level, depending on how long it takes. If it flies anywhere between today and the 8th of July, then by 8th of July we'll be bumping exactly between the fib extension and the trend line. Obviously these targets can change if Bitcoin pulls down again, because they're measured according to the drop of a wave 4. Okay, now that is one. So psychological level 32k, next is 32,777, and to the upside 34,793. There have been wave 5s that extend to the 1.618, and that would take it to 38k. However, once this wave 5 is finished, if it's not done, because it could really be done if we're counting it, this was counting it as a 1, 2, we're counting it as a 4 and a 5 up. Yeah, now if you're counting it as a 1, 2, you run the risk of coming to those lower levels of the retracement that I mentioned between the 0.5 and 0.786. That could take you between the 28,141 and 26,200, meeting the VWAP. So we have confluence. When you start dropping, watch this level, 28,141, and then you have the golden pocket here at the value area low, somewhere around the value area low, 27,130. An easier way to trade these is trading volume profile levels. So now we're above the value area high. Once you drop and you back test the value area high in yellow, you know that you could be coming to the POC in yellow. Once you lose that, you know that you'll be coming to the value area low in yellow, but you know you might bounce in this red value area high. You lose that, you're coming to the POC, and so on. You could trade it level to level, as simple as that. You could trade it short and looking at the reaction. Is the reaction going to give me a bounce, or can I stay in my short? Maybe I move my stops down, that I dropped below the value area high and I'm below the POC. I can move my stops closer to the value area high, slowly, and you move. And you compound your gains. So yeah, those are the levels for Bitcoin on the to the upside, to the downside. We still are at risk of dropping much lower in Bitcoin. I haven't changed my stance. So that was a 1. This was the peak of my 1, and I came down in my 2 over here. And if I look at my 3, we came just above the 1-to-1. I mean, we hit above the 1-to-1. And the one, yeah, we kept it. We're still trying to make it above the 1-to-1. Next point could be 32, 140, 235, 565. It is very possible. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to figure out, have we completed this move? Okay, so to know that, I take it from the bottom of wave 3 to the peak of wave 3 and bring it down to the presumed wave 4 over here, because if I take a fib retracement from the bottom of the wave 3 to the peak of wave 3, my wave 4 came to the 0.5 fib and a bit, so that's fine. Now 0.1618 is right there. This is my target. Remember I said 31777, so here I have confluence on the higher time frame, which would tell me that this bigger move is done. Now when that bigger move is done, you're looking at maybe, sometimes you don't get those deep retracement, but if you come all the way to 32.8, your retracement could bring you down anywhere between 24.126 and 19.159, and everyone will be screaming a bear market, but the chart will just be doing what the chart is doing. Now let's look at moving averages. Where are we in terms of moving averages on lower time frames? The 15-minute is my sweet spot for trading. Now looking at the 15-minute time frame, you see that this was the short entry. This over here would be my short entry. I would have been stopped out probably. I would re-enter here. You get the cross. Or once I notice a double top, I like to do this. Take my fib retracement from the peak to this wick down here. I see the 0.618 or 0.786. I'm happy with it to enter a short, because it shows me that we have hit that fib level and got a wick. So I'll say, okay, that's extra confluence for me, and I'm going to enter the trade. I enter the trade, I get wicked, but my stops are above the high, or even these highs, if I can manage that. And once I get this cross, I have further confirmation that I'm going down. Momentum is shifting, there is expansion. Now where do I re-enter if I missed it? Boom, you hit the low, you come back to the 50, and you notice this behavior over here. A small wick, come down, bounce, rejection, come back. Now what can happen here is that you're forming a double bottom. You need to be aware of the chart. You have a bottom over here, you have a bottom over here, you have 3 hits to the low. Now there could be a shift out. It could be. Alright, that's enough on Bitcoin. Let's go quick on Ethereum. However, before we do that, let's look at the DXY. The DXY is not showing weakness. You need to recognize the DXY is in some sort of inverse head and shoulders. Let's go this way. 1, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and your breakout point for the DXY is this. If you start breaking out over here, then you're going to have a problem for Bitcoin. I mean, this head and shoulders is not perfect, but let's say it's like that. That's my neckline. Not perfect. I don't like it, but however, it is a triple bottom. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, and now we're having a 4th. But once you break this, if you start pumping up and breaking the 104.1, you'll have a run up. People say if you break the 103.4, this level, you need to break this level. Previous resistance, previous support, strong level, 103.4. You break that, you know you're going to have a run up and the markets are going to dump. I'm 103.2 on this chart I have marked out, I believe. And you need to be aware of that level, 103.2. If you break that, you'll be going up. The VIX is very low, but we've been dropping on the VIX like crazy. I wonder when is it going to bounce, because once the VIX bounces, the volatility index for the S&P 500, the markets will dump. Nasdaq is trying to hold that high, same as Bitcoin. Look at that, previous high, struggling at it, forming a triple top. That's gonna dump probably. Dow Jones struggling, not like the Nasdaq. Oh yeah, like the S&P 500 looks slightly different. S&P 500 it's not very far from its all-time high. It's just a few percents away. All-time high was somewhere 4,800. S&P 500 is at 4,500. It's not far away. If you take a measuring tool and you measure that, that's just about 6 to 7%. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum also has levels. I trade volume profile. I like to trade it. Now Ethereum for the day isn't looking strong, doing what Bitcoin did. It has a chance to pull back sharply, so you need to be aware of that. It had a big move up previously in June 2022. We came up, pulled back down. That could be a 1-2. I'll just remove the fixed range volume profile for a second. You can see if we pull that down, Fibonacci retracement, almost perfectly 0.786. I would count that as a 1-2, a strange 3, or an A, B, and a C. And I could measure out where do I want my 3 or my C to get to, and see if it's finished. Well, we came to the C. Golden pocket was a target, but we exceeded it. We came very close to the 1-to-1. Can we make that 2020 that I've been mentioning in my Discord and complete this 3 or C, a 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension? Now this move over here, counting it as a C or a 3, I will stick with a 3. And I said I had a 1 and a 2 again. This was another 2 in the micro 3, so you need to be aware what I'm talking about. It came to the 0.5 fib. I'll say that's fine. And I would say that was my third wave up. It looks extended, so I'll take it from the 1 to the peak of my presumed 1 to the bottom of my 1. My third wave came all the way above the 1-to-1 again. Nice. We pulled back. This pullback over here. This from here to here, I would assume it's a wave 4. So I would say from here to here, my wave 4 came quite deep. I didn't like that, so maybe it formed another 1-2. That's crazy in my third, and I'm in a third of a third of a third probably. So I'll just take a measurement of my presumed target of this third or C. I think it could come all the way to, we have resistance 2116, 24,115. The thing is, once we get to these ranges, you could see by just looking at this candle, if you understand candlesticks, once you get above this level 22,340, you kind of have an insufficiency. Look at these big candles with no consolidation. This is on the daily time frame. On the 4-hourly, you might find okay, some consolidation, but not much. As you can see on the 4-hourly, that was that level. I said we had some. We have a bit over here. We have a bit over here. So you need to be careful. Once you see those levels getting hit, you need to be wary of your shorts, because there might be just a run up, a bump and run, and you find yourself and because Ethereum is also forming some sort of like a head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder, which could break out. If we start pulling down, if Ethereum starts pulling down, and this is just going to be a double top. This is the first top, and then we come for the second top, and we're rotating to the downside in a correction or an impulse. Then I would assume Ethereum to come to the 0.618 and 0.65, and that's exactly where Ethereum is from its 2023 highs. So for me, looking at that, that is a decent point to say, okay, it's in a good point to short. And plus, another thing that's worrying me about Ethereum is, despite Ethereum futures price is going up, but Ethereum USD is very low. It's at 18.19. This is Ethereum spot on Binance, and this is Ethereum futures. There's $140 difference between them, and I don't think so. The USDT and the US dollar have depegged at the moment. We are above the 0.618, so you could look at it in two ways. You are at resistance, a point you could possibly pull back from, and if you pull back, I'm looking at between the 1700 and 1600. My retracement, if this is going to be a pullback in a wave 2, could take me anywhere between the 1800 and 1700 on the spot. That range. And then I'll have the golden pocket at 1750 is my golden pocket for this wave 2 dump if we are coming down, pull back. Now my problem is from the all-time high, we did this. Let's see what we did before. We came all the way to, look, 2023 high, came down to this low, pumped up to the golden pocket. You can see I aligned it, and we continued lower. Possibly we went to the 1.618. Let's see how far did we go. We came down. We came all the way to the 1-to-1 and a bit. Now what's happening here is similar. I'm going to take it from the all-time high. Just a second, I want to see something. From the all-time high of 2023, I mean, to the low of 2023. And you can see that we are there again. We are holding better than last time. Last time it was clear. One day, 4 hourly pumped. Next was a doji. Second showed you a rejection, continuation to the downside. Over here, what we're getting is a bit of a consolidation, but I'm not liking this. This is a pattern that could dump and hold and pump and continue in a head and shoulders and break down. This is an insufficiency. We've recovered half of it. Okay, that's good enough. However, we are at a level that I've told you to watch for a long time, I believe. No, we are not there yet. 1914 was my level. You can see how it holds as support and resistance. I gave you that maybe a month ago. Value area high is at 1920.96. I would watch those levels. It's funny, 1920.96. I remember seeing a candle hit exactly to the dollar, and I was so shocked on the accuracy. I can't remember where it was, but this was 19. Where was that? There was a candle I noticed on the Binance chart that came almost exactly. Anyhow, maybe it's on a much smaller time frame. But it tells you something, that these levels are so respected. I mean, we come so close to them. Yeah. Now, what are we doing here? Going to the 15-minute, taking my EMAs, looking at that. I can see it wicking to the upside, but I can see stopping volume candles up here. We broke down to the 50, failed to follow through, came up, came down, failed to follow through, and now we failed to continue up. You see that? Failed to rotate upwards. That tells me we could be coming down to 1920. That's a $30 move. You could profit from it. From here to here, using leverage. That's a nice one. That's a 1% drop. You could make all your money back. Your margin back if you're crazy like me and go for 100x as I do. Yeah, that's for Ethereum. Solana. Let's go to Solana, see what Solana's up to, our levels. I haven't charted Solana in a while, but I'm going to look at the levels that I have. So you're above the 18.346 finally. Next level is 20.750. So if there is a run up today and things start running away, which I doubt because the markets, the New York Stock Exchange is closed. We came all the way to 0.786, got rejection, got a pullback, and at the moment we dropped below the 0.618 and are trying to get above it at 19,220. So for Solana, in my opinion, Solana is a bit of a heavy mover, but you need to know that we are still below the volume profile. Your fixed range volume profile value area low is 20.750. If you can get above it, then you're coming to the $23 range. Okay, so once you see yourself getting support at 27.50, you know that you could come to the $23 and higher. You need to get above the 27.50, the most important zone for Solana. As you can see, I had these targets from before. If you remember, they have been hit finally. I mean, on the 10th of June it was hit. We are in July. We bounced off once we got very close. We missed it by about 0.3 cents, 0.3 of a dollar. But now that we came down, I have fulfilled this move down and this retracement that I was waiting for. And say we came down to here, 0.618 in June. So I can see my 1 and a 2 is fulfilled. Okay, and if I want to be bullish, if it's not going to go lower, I can say that, okay, fulfilled, target is 0.618 or 1-to-1 extension, 24.6 all the way to 32. 24.6 is a possibility if this pattern is holding as it is. Now over here, these movements don't look very impulsive. I would assume we are having one more leg down, but I'll just take a fib extension on this. Say, okay, you have come to the 0.786. You hit the 0.618. Could this be an A, B, and a C? Yeah, and we're done, and we're continuing lower in some sort of a bear flag. It is possible, and if you're gonna continue lower in this movement, you could have measured out. This is not a perfect bear flag. I know people who are watching will be like, what are you talking about? But I believe this could play out. You could have a breakdown from here, because if I draw a trend line here, presumably a flag, and I say this is a breakdown over here, and it happens, say it doesn't happen today, it happens on the 6th of July, you could be looking at Solana going to my targets, $5 to $7 range. There you go. That is a possibility. Are you going to be a buyer at $5 to $7, or are you going to be a seller selling your bags out of fear? I think that's a point to buy, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree with that. Okay, now what would tell me to short Solana now? Well, not now, but this, look at that. Let's go to the 1 hourly. We have nothing. 4 hourly, 800 EMA, perfect retest once, and a rejection over here. Came up, bump, we didn't touch it, and we came down. We sold off it previously, sold off it previously, came above it and came down. So just be careful. You know your 800 EMA is at $20. Very possible to bump and reject. Okay, you are above the 50 EMA, you are above the 200, you bumped at the 800, you come down. You are above the 200 and the 50, you came up, you're coming up to the 800. Be careful, you might have a run up again, because you're having what is called the bullish cross, 50 and 200 cross. You had that over here. They crossed only to bump down in a big red candle. This is on the 4 hourly. I'm going to do a quick one on Litecoin and Quant, and I'm going to call it a stream. Litecoin and Quant on the 4 hourly, we are above the 50 EMA. My next target is 114 for Quant. The prices are so close now that I'm confused between Litecoin and Quant. It was easier to tell the difference. You can see how it respected the 101 on this wick. So 101 and 114, I gave you these levels. You heard them here first a long time ago. We've been in this range for ages. We've been in this range. Look at that. Short 114, get stopped out. Short again, 114, come down all the way to 101, bounce all the way to that region. Now once you get to 114, take profit or even close your trade. You come down again, go up, down. What's next? What do you think could happen next? I would say high probability we come up. And what we'll do next, we'll see what we'll do next. But there's a possibility we might range, if we're going to still range on and on and on. Okay, so 101, 114, a big range to trade. I know it's not perfect for scalp traders, But for scalp traders, I'll tell you, you could look at this on the hourly and you can see you are at a level of previous resistance, support. You have support over here, you could bounce. But essentially, if you're trading a range, you are in the middle of the range. It's not a long, it's not a short. You're not sure what to do. But you can see you're failing to break up. Now, even if you go with the indicator, you are struggling at the 50, but it could be a consolidation before a pump, or it could be distribution before a dump. 15 minutes, you are below the 50. But you see, you tried to break down, you didn't. You tried to break up, you didn't. Down, you didn't. You're still holding. You are below the psychological low, so that's not bullish. Your psychological high is over here at last week's high. So if you are to short it, you could short it from the daily open or even the psychological low. Being that you're struggling at the 50 EMA, you might get stopped out. I mean, it's a bit too late to short. You're shorting the lows, sort of. But yeah, looking at bigger structure for this Litecoin, sorry, Quant. It's I don't like this chart because very hard to analyze. Is this an ABC? It doesn't look like a 1, 2, 3. Looks very corrective on the way up, on the way down. I mean, on this move up, it was very impulsive, but it went to the 1.618. It was done, and then we had a pullback. I don't like these kind of moves because it makes it almost impossible to see. You came down all the way to the 0.618, 0.65. You could say, okay, sorry, let me put that back. Yeah, you came all the way to the 0.786. Okay, and then you bounced. Now, what am I expecting? One. You came down here. You hit the 0.618 to 0.65. That's an okay target for a C wave. You could be done, or you'd come to the 121, the 1-to-1 extension. Yeah, and once you come there, you'll be watching your 114 and of course your 117s, the highs basically. Yeah, so that's for Quant. Litecoin, on the other hand, Litecoin is holding. See, it hit the target that I had, 111.68. If you were longing and you were watching my channel, you'd be looking at the reaction 108 and 111. Now, you can see that we are above previous resistance. As I said, let me go back to Quant. I want to check something because I claimed something. Let me see if I was right. I said we are at the breakout Litecoin Quant. Quant hasn't broken out. Quant needs to break above the 120 to say we are in a breakout for Quant, okay? Litecoin, on the other hand, is leading. So Litecoin dominance. Litecoin should be better than BTC, I believe. Look at that. Litecoin has done a breakout. I'm sure Litecoin holders should be very happy. Litecoin breakout. Yeah, we had a Litecoin breakout, everybody, and that is good news. So over here, I had some sort of a 1, 2. I don't like the count, but I'm gonna go with it just to see how far can I get to. So 1 all the way up here at $73, and then bring it down. You came all the way to 1.618. okay, that is okay for 3 or C, and then you would expect a dump, but you didn't get it. So that's telling me that from here, this could have been my pullback in a wave 4. It formed another 1, 2, I believe, because we came very deep, and then so I'll say this is a 1, forming 1, 2s. 1, 2s is not very nice. Came to the 0.786. If it was a 1, 2, 3 on ABC, I'm not sure, but we came to a retracement, and now we got rejected there 3 days, 4 days in a row. We came down again, deep retracement. It's having big moves and deep retracement, Litecoin. See, we came to the 0.786. Now this looks nicer. Over here, you could see we did a nice 1.618 extension possibly. From here, 1.272, close to the 1.618. So now what's there for Litecoin? Simply, you're gonna look at your previous swing high or where you sold off from. Yeah, you go from this swing high to the swing low, and you look at your fib level. You are at the 0.786. You wicked it. You wicked it when 3rd of July, I believe, and you got a rejection. So that's a good retracement. If it wants to continue high, then this could be a 1, and this is a crazy 2, and we're going lower. Or I'm gonna give you a crazier target, but I think it will take us to the negative. An ABC down, a final ABC down, or 1, 2, 3. Okay. 0.618 could take you to 56 or $56. The 1-to-1 could take you to $20. Did you hear that? 56 and $20. Keep that in mind. You heard it here first. $20 and $56. It is very possible. Yeah, we have, if you take it from here and you say this move down was an impulse, or if you want to say, oh, this was a big correction all the way there from this high and we came down, we are at resistance. Look at these lows. This is where we're struggling to get above. Look at that. We had a double bottom and a run up. We have resistance there, so just be aware. It's a big level. You could come down anywhere. You bounce off the 0.786 perfectly. Now you could go lower. The lower one is a negative, so I wouldn't look at that at the moment. But if you're wondering why you're struggling here, there, very important level. You could draw a line and watch how you react there. You are struggling at, same as Bitcoin 28k, how it was struggling at it. But however, Litecoin is at a breakout. Yeah. Let me take it from here. Litecoin is one of the leading coins. I believe we're at a make or break point. It's beautiful. Yeah, we could come down, we could come lower, but that's not the way to measure it. The way I did it now was wrong. So yeah, $20 to $56. Litecoin. Congratulations to people who are holding Litecoin. You are at resistance. You are above this level, which you were struggling to get above. Finally broke out of the 95. Your next level of significance to get above is a 112. I'll say it's a 112. Then you're coming up to the 120, 134. Yeah, so just hold on. If you want a long, you move your stops. You move your stops in profit just in case this turns around. There's going to be low volume today once the London session closes, so just be aware of that. Ethereum still struggling there. We are at that level. We are at previous support, that is resistance, Ethereum. So yeah, this level, same as Litecoin, 2021 lows, July 2021. It's funny how 2 years ago we were in the same levels. It's like bots controlling this. Look at that. We're here. We were here in June, July 2021, and we're here again. Look at that. We're here again 2 years later. It's like a program, and we're in it. And we think we're controlling everything, but we're controlling nothing. It's a program. Look at that. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Why are we around the same levels 2 years later, around the same on the same month? So are we going to have a run up to December? I doubt it. But I'm not saying it can't happen. But how high? That's the question. What if we have a run up to December, but don't break all-time high, come to 3,000 by December 2023, only to start the dump again? We could range here for another 3 months, just to let you know. So that's my perspective on the market. Hope you like it. Litecoin on a breakout. Litecoin is at a breakout. Very nice. Congrats on Litecoin holders. This is forming 2023 all-time high. It's the highest it's been ever since I would say April 2022. So it's very good. Very good. So next target is 134. It's funny how Litecoin and Quant are almost the same price now. Alright, that's my update. Hope you like it. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and join the free Discord where I post when I'm not posting videos. I haven't been for a while because I was in my travels. And I do post some trade setups. As you know, this is not financial advice. I would rather teach you how to fish rather than just give you the fish. So I'll teach you how to trade, and you would do it yourself. You wouldn't need to pay someone or know how to do it. Anyhow, you have this big insufficiency on Litecoin, so just be aware of it. I forgot to mention that. That is a big juicy daily candle that could be taken 50%, I believe, is reasonable to believe. We could come down to 98 or even $90. This pattern is very familiar. I've showed you on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum a lot of times. Ding, we range, this is on the daily, and we come down. Here you go. We come up, you think you're going to break out, you just range, bump your head at resistance, you recover, then you move. So you could be bumping here for a while, or you could do it quicker. It happens sometimes on a quicker scale. Look at that. Looks similar. Came up, broke down even lower, liquidated the longs, and then continued higher. Similar to this. Look, 1, 2, we went up, range, liquidated these late longs, only to continue higher. So if it does this, it could do this, come down, yeah, come down lower, liquidate, come up, come up, come up. You think we're gonna bounce? Yeah, I'm going long over here, dump again, only to continue higher. All right, see you in the next one. More trades, I'm out.